Most boats do not fail from hard use. They fail from how they were built. The scariest part is you cannot see it happening until it is already too late. A boat sitting in a saltwater slip right now with clean gel coat and a fresh service record can have a transom already absorbing water and hardware quietly corroding from the inside out. Nobody disclosed that at the dock. Nobody put it on the listing. The difference between a hull still fully structural at 30 years and one headed for the scrapyard at 12 is not luck or maintenance. It is a set of construction decisions made before that hull ever touched the water. There are exactly 7 platforms that got every one of those decisions right. Number 4 is a name every saltwater boater already knows, but the reason it made this list will surprise you. And the last entry completely changes how you think about what a hull is even supposed to be. Stick through all 7. It is worth it. Before the list, you need to know what actually kills these hulls, because if you cannot identify the failure, you cannot recognize when a builder solved it. The first is wood rot. Most fiberglass boats built before the 2010s used marine plywood inside their transoms, stringers, and deck cores. 1 unsealed fastener hole, 1 gel coat crack, and water is behind the laminate, working against wood you cannot see. The hull looks fine right up until the deck flexes underfoot, or a transom fitting starts backing itself out. Marine surveyors call it the most underestimated failure mode in used boat inspections. The second is galvanic corrosion. Saltwater is an electrolyte. Dissimilar metals in direct contact corrode each other from the inside before anything visible appears on the surface. Most production boats are not built with the metal isolation required to stop this in areas a buyer cannot see at the dock. The third kills boats slowly and silently. Fishbox drains routed into the bilge, unsealed wiring connections corroding inside closed compartments, hardware fastened into substrates that cannot hold load over a decade offshore. These compound every other failure mode at once. Every boat on this list was engineered to address all 3. Here is how, starting with number 7. Viking has been building sport fishing yachts in New Gretna, New Jersey since 1964, when brothers Bill and Bob Healy bought a struggling wooden boat factory and began the transition to fiberglass. Over 6 decades, they have delivered more than 5,500 hulls. What separates Viking is not the scale, it is the degree of control over build quality. Every Viking hull uses a resin infusion process. Vacuum pressure draws resin through the laminate, eliminating the air voids left by open hand lamination. The result is a hull that is lighter and structurally stronger than a traditionally laminated hull of the same size. Stringer grids are infused separately, bonded to the hull interior, and fully encapsulated in fiberglass. Viking produces over 90% of every component in-house: fuel tanks, metal fabrication, electronics, and cabinetry. The company is family-owned and debt-free, which means those construction standards have never been compromised by an acquisition. That matters more than most buyers realize when evaluating a 30-year-old hull. Hinckley was founded in Southwest Harbor, Maine in 1928, making it one of the oldest surviving boat builders in the United States. They introduced their first fiberglass hull, the Bermuda 40, in 1959, before most production builders had made that transition. Hinckley was the first American builder to adopt scrimp resin infusion technology in production yachts. In 1994, they developed Dual Guard, a proprietary composite of aramid and carbon fiber, built to produce a stronger, more impact-resistant hull structure. Every Hinckley is built to order. No stock hulls sit in inventory. Every penetration point and hardware installation is engineered into the specific build before construction begins. Hinckley operates 9 service yards along the East Coast, meaning a hull built in 1985 can still receive factory-level maintenance across the primary saltwater territory it operates in. That service infrastructure is part of what longevity over 30 years actually requires in practice. In 1958, Richard Bertram watched a 23-foot runabout designed by naval architect C. Raymond Hunt cut through 6-foot seas at 30 knots with a composure no other hull could match. He commissioned a 31-foot version. That boat, named Moppy, won the 1960 Miami-Nassau race outright. A fiberglass production version won the same race in 1961. Bertram Yacht was founded that year and produced 1,986 units of the Bertram 31 over the following 16 years. The construction detail that made it legendary is documented precisely. The deep V hull maintains full D-rise all the way back to the transom, not just forward. Most production hulls of that era flattened out at the stern, but Bertram did not. Full-length D-rise means the hull cuts through wave energy at every point, rather than slamming across it at the stern in a following sea. The structural result is reduced repetitive stress on every laminate bond across decades of offshore use. Bertram 31s built in the 1960s are still fishing the Gulf Stream today. That is not nostalgia. That is the construction record. Every serious saltwater boater has seen a Grady-White at the ramp or running offshore. The reputation is real and independently verified. Grady-White has won every J.D. Power Marine study ever conducted and every consecutive National Marine Manufacturers Association Customer Satisfaction Index Award since the program launched in 2003. No other saltwater production builder has matched that record across both programs. The construction behind it is specific. Grady-White completed its transition to all-composite transoms in 2015 and all-composite stringers in 2016, eliminating wood entirely from the structural hull. The stringer system is precision-patterned fiberglass bonded into the hull while still in the mold. Closed-cell polyurethane foam fills every below-deck void, exceeding Coast Guard flotation requirements. All deck hardware is 3/16 stainless steel, and it is through-bolted at every penetration. Fishbox drains run overboard. Marine surveyors running moisture meters across Grady-White hulls after years in saltwater slips have documented readings consistently below 8%, the recognized dry threshold. That is a physical measurement, not a marketing claim. Riviera was founded in 1980 on the Gold Coast of Queensland, Australia. The company has since built over 6,300 motor yachts and exports more than 60% of annual production globally across a model range from 39 to 78 feet. Riviera hulls are hand-laid with multi- and quad-directional fiberglass matting over composite core materials and sealed with vinyl ester resin, selected for its superior resistance to water absorption over standard polyester resin. Hull thickness reaches nearly 20 millimeters at structural load points with solid fiberglass below the waterline. The hull-to-deck joint is a 3-stage process: bonding, mechanical fastening, and internal fiberglass strapping. Resin infusion is applied to key structural components, producing parts documented as approximately 30% lighter than traditionally laminated equivalents, with superior strength. Every new Riviera carries a 7-year structural warranty on the hull, deck, flybridge, and hardtops. A warranty term that long is only commercially viable when the builder has no concern about what a surveyor finds inside the hull years from now. Maritimo was founded in 2003 by Bill Barry Cotter, who previously built and sold Riviera yachts before pursuing a specific engineering philosophy: offshore racing technology applied directly to production motor yacht construction. Maritimo is the only luxury motor yacht builder in the world, with both a racing division and a World Championship race team operating in-house, with structural data from that program directly informing every hull in production. Every Maritimo is built around a patented molded liner process, a documented world patent for how fully molded structural liners bond to the solid fiberglass hull. The liner runs continuously from the engine room through the accommodation and structural areas, incorporating fuel tanks and functioning as a monocoque structure. Fuel tanks are glassed directly to the hull, eliminating the flex and fatigue cracking at the tank-to-hull interface under sustained offshore loads. Maritimo is the only yacht builder in Australia certified to ISO 9001 quality management standards. Deep V-hull geometry, a long keel for directional stability, and spray rails keep this hull composed in sea states where lesser boats are already heading for the inlet. Every boater knows the story. The founder stood on a whaler hull cut in half with a chainsaw, and it still floated. That was not a stunt. It was a physical demonstration of what the Unibond construction process actually produces and exactly why it closes this list. Unibond has been in continuous production since 1958 and has never fundamentally changed. The hull and inner liner are laid up separately in fiberglass. While both are still curing in their molds, the molds are locked together. Liquid 2-part polyurethane is injected into the cavity between them. The foam expands under pressure, fills every void, chemically bonds both skins together, and cures into one unified structure. Boston Whaler's own published documentation confirms the finished hull carries up to 2.5 times the flotation required by Coast Guard standards. There is no internal void space, no core material that can absorb water and delaminate. Impact loads distribute across the entire foam and fiberglass matrix rather than concentrating at joint points, so the stress cracking that begins water intrusion in conventional hulls never initiates. Whalers built in the 1970s are still surveying clean. The construction does not change. That has been the entire point since day one. The builder's credentials answer how a hull was built. The condition of the specific boat in front of you answers what has happened since. Both questions need an answer before money changes hands. Run a moisture meter across the hull bottom first. Readings above 12% indicate elevated moisture. Readings above 15% mean active intrusion. Trace every fishbox and live well drain line to confirm it exits overboard, not into the bilge. Check aluminum components contacting stainless hardware for bubbling at the joint. Bubbling is galvanic corrosion already working underneath. Ask how the boat was stored. A hull kept on a lift between uses ages at a fraction of the rate of one that sits in a saltwater slip year-round.